Welcome to Key Tech. Please describe this channel if you are interested in today's video. China and Russia have always maintained a close cooperative relationship and have deep exchanges in economics, trade and culture. When Russia faced many sanctions from the West, China stabilized its cooperative relationship with Russia and imported crude oil, natural gas, and other resources from Russia. In addition, China and Russia are also deepening cooperation on satellite systems. Beidou can be open to Russia, or change the development direction of the future satellite navigation system of the two countries. Biden is going crazy and forcing the EU to sanction Chinese companies. The EU's attitude has disappointed the United States. The United States will consult with the EU on many matters. Of course, it is not so much a discussion as an instigation of the EU to do something. When the United States suppressed Huawei's 5G, the United States persuaded Germany, Sweden, and other European countries to abandon Huawei's 5G cooperation and exclude Chinese companies' 5G equipment from the market. When the United States is trying to get rid of China's dependence on the rare earth supply chain, it once again wins over European countries to rebuild the rare earth industry chain. When the United States restrained Russia, it dragged the whole of Europe into the water and imposed thousands of sanctions. Behind all this is the United States. The European Union has become a follower of the United States. It seems to be an ally, but it is actually a puppet of the United States. If the United States really regards the European Union as its own, it will not take the opportunity to raise energy prices to export to Europe when it restricts Russian energy prices. And it will not disregard the interests of European countries and make them bear the loss of abandoning cooperation with Chinese companies. The European Union does not seem to see the true face of the United States, and is still colluding with the United States in the semiconductor, rare earth, and other industrial chain fields. However, there are exceptions to everything. If the core interests of the EU are really involved, the right choice can still be made. For example, the United States intends to force the EU to sanction Chinese companies because of Russia's use of Chinese satellites, but the EU's attitude is, do not follow. Everyone knows that China has its own Beidou satellite. After decades of realizing independent global networking, it is advancing the layout of the consumer market on a large scale. In addition, China's Beidou is also cooperating with countries around the world, providing them with open authorization and access to their respective navigation and positioning systems. In late March, Chinese high-level officials visited Russia, and the two sides signed a number of cooperation agreements, including satellite systems, to promote the complementary advantages of each other's navigation systems. Although China and Russia have long carried out satellite system cooperation projects, China's Beidou and Russia's GLONASS are not compatible with each other, and there are deviations in the accuracy of navigation and positioning. But once compatibility and complementarity are achieved, obstacles can be removed. In the civilian field, the China-Russia satellite navigation system can enhance the application benefits in the fields of transportation and logistics, car navigation, and ship positioning. In terms of military use, the significance is not to mention improving navigation accuracy, obtaining accurate location information, and so on. Russia uses Chinese satellites, and China can also benefit from the Russian satellite system. There are only 4 major satellite positioning systems in the world, namely the GPS of the United States and Galileo of the European Union. The other 2 are Beidou of China and GLONASS of Russia. Now that the 2 major satellite positioning systems complement each other, the situation is not what the United States wants to see. So the United States began to make a big fuss, exaggerating the atmosphere of tit for tat. Even in January of this year, the United States began to take action against Chinese satellite companies. At that time, the United States included the Chinese enterprise Changsha China Space Technology Research Institute Company, Limited, referred to as Tianhe, on the sanctions list because it suspected that Tianhe had business contacts with Russia's Terra Tech and Wagner Group, and Tianhe provided synthetic apertures for these Russian entities. Radar satellite images are then used by them in Russian military operations. In other words, the United States believes that Tianhe's remote sensing satellite technology provides military services to Russia. However, after clarification by Tianhe, it denied that there was no business relationship with Russia's Terra Tech and Wagner Group, and the products were not used for any military purposes. In fact, everyone is very clear about the right and wrong of this. The United States has no evidence and wants to pour dirty water on others with just a few words, but forgets what shameful things it has done. The United States wants to sanction Tianhe, so that EU members can also participate in it, but the attitude of the EU is not to follow, and there is no agreement with the United States to impose corresponding sanctions on Chinese companies. In fact, it is not difficult to understand the choice of the EU. It is not their original intention to stand on the opposite side of the Chinese market in order to sanction a Chinese company. The Chinese market is still an important trade partner for European countries. Although it stands with the United States in some matters, it can still be clear about right and wrong. It is estimated that Biden is going to go crazy. China and Russia have strengthened Beidou satellite cooperation. Although China denies that remote sensing satellite technology provides military services to Russia, it will not be affected in any way in the civilian field. Once China and Russia complement each other in the satellite field, they will completely get rid of the US GPS. Even in various actions, the United States will lose its dominance, which is why the United States has taken action against Chinese satellite companies. But the EU's rejection is destined to disappoint the United States. If you agree with the point of view of this video, please like it. Welcome to Forward, leave a message and share.